Hi there, it's Quilting Nerd. Today I wanted to go back a little bit more to the basics of free motion quilting, simply to make once more sure that I am sending the right message. And my message is that quilting is not complicated. Free motion quilting consists of some very simple shapes that all of us know. So one of the very basic shapes that everybody knows is just a straight line. It can be straightish when it's done by hand, or it can be a little bit more wavy. If we want to be, we can always use a ruler to quilt such a line, but we can keep them shorter and make turns and quilt back and forth lines. This is one of the reasons why I like this kind of pattern. But immediately you can see that this is nothing else, only very compact wavy line. And wavy line is one of very common shape that we can see everywhere because it is, for example, used as a spine for our feathers. Or we can add echoes, or we can use it to divide our quilting in more complex shapes. So that's the lines. Straight lines, let's go back to that. We can keep them short and we can use them to create squares, triangles, rectangles, so lots of geometric forms, diamonds. So lots of geometric forms we can use with simple straight lines. Then we have circles and round shapes. So we have circles, we have ovals, we have circles with small swirls, we have swirls, and circles with echoes, and that's another family of quilting shapes we can use very easily. And if you look at it that way, you know exactly how to quilt them. Now a little bit of a combination of a round shape and wavy line. It's like when we quilt half circle, we have an arch, and arches can be used to create clamshell designs, for example, or we can quilt nested arches and have also very nice quilting shapes. Then we have S curves. So if you can write an S letter, then you can quilt also and create very nice shapes. If you can draw an 8 shape, you can also quilt in ribbon candy, or you can quilt wishbone. So, and then we have the last one, which is kind of exaggeration between the arch and the round shape, and that would be paisley shape. So all of those elements we are using in quilting, only in different combinations. And if you look at it that way, it is all very easy. It is only about how do we combine it, what we dare to use in our designs. And if we are selecting, when we look at complex quilting pattern, if we can take it apart to its most simple components. So today, for a very simple quilting exercise, let us combine some wavy lines and round element, and let me see what we can do with that one. So let me set the machine for the quilting and adjust the camera, and we will start in a moment. My sewing machine is set, prepared for free motion quilting. I have the appropriate foot, and let us start with a very nice gentle line. So I am not exaggerating with the waviness. I'm keeping the movement relatively gentle, and I'm not rushing. One side, let's add echo line just to practice the spacing. I would like to stress out once more the importance of making mistakes, because they are extremely effective to teach us what it's working and what's not. Now let's add some space up, and my machine does not like the thread again. As you can see, I am using one of my polyester variegated threads, but sometimes my machine does not like it. Can be that my needle is used, so I will actually change the thread and the machine, and then we can continue. The thread is changed, so is the needle. Sometimes it's a combination of different factors like the fabrics, the pressure, the speed. There are threads that this one likes a lot, and it never makes trouble when I'm quilting with them. But there are threads like those polyester variegated threads that my machine simply doesn't like, and it always makes trouble. So let's go back to our exercise. I am quilting another wavy line, and I created like that a very narrow space in between, and this one I can now quilt with ovals or circles, depends how is your skill level, always following this kind of 8 rule. So I am just always going in the same direction. I'm never backtracking. In this way I can travel very nicely, and this combination of those two shapes works beautifully. I prefer ovals to circles, because if we have irregular shape, then it's more difficult to quilt a circle. Ovals are more adjustable to the available space. It's just going in nice rhythm. Don't rush. From time to time, adjust your hands so you have better control on the fabrics. And don't rush. We need slow things so we can appreciate this, what we are doing, even better, so we can adjust again to a normal way of thinking. It's the amount of information we are getting every single day And most of it is negative actually. This is scary and it makes us stressed out and makes us lose the ability to think rationally and stay, if you can say, relaxed. And that's why I am propagating quilting as a creative pastime and very useful hobby, because it is one of those hobbies that helps you stay sane and it's very good for your mental health. I know that on my own example. So we have this very nice motif here. Looks very pretty. And we can try something else. So let's quilt few lines more. And let's try to exaggerate a little bit and let's try to mirror the shape. It works really good if you will make those spaces between even larger. Let's add some echo lines. And I would like to attract your attention also to another aspect of this simple exercise. We are combining elements of totally different geometry and texture, because we have those wavy, elongated lines on one side. Actually, this shape looks already very good as it is. I could quilt a whole quilt just like that without adding any additional elements into the space here. So let me now twist here. So this is already fine. It's like the space is around 1 inch, which is like pretty comfy space to live without quilting on any quilt. If you combine those lines in between, this will create this very nice pillows of volume that will pop out and look actually pretty good on any quilt if you do not have time. But if you want to add some something a little bit extra, we can now go back here and either add circles with a little bit of a swirl. I like to call them marbles. We can still add a little one more here. Use some traveling. We can use again those elongated egg-like shapes. Or we can add regular swirls without changing the direction, and that allows us very nice for nice movement from one section to the other. Or we can add swirls with changing direction. I also have a video how to do that, and we can just close it with regular, more rounds. No, it's still a bit more oval. So, again, simple combination of those lines and round elements, and you can create a very nice looking texture and really very interesting, very beautiful free motion quilting. and it's not difficult. What else can we do? So now I actually divided my quilting space into narrow rows, but we can do something else. You can, I always like adding echo to my quilting lines because they separate the quilting areas so much better. So let's add some more space and just let's quilt another line. It doesn't have to echo the previous one. We just want to have some wavy line where we are just adding echo. So that's we are not done yet with the subdivision. Let's add one more such a section. And now as we go back, we can start weaving in perpendicular direction, so horizontally, and let's create a net. And again, in a way, this is already an independent, standalone quilting pattern you can use on a scrappy quilt where you have lots of seams, or the fabric is very busy, so you know your quilting will be not that visible, because then you just need quilting more for functional purpose and the touch of texture. But you do not have to go into very complex pattern, because that would be a little bit waste of your effort. But like that, it's a great texture, it fulfills its function of keeping the 3 layers of the fabric together. So let's add one more. So now we have those subsections of quilting, and now we can go back by a little bit of traveling if we don't want to start and go, and we can use nice swirls or pebbles, all those round shapes we want to fill the subsections. And in this very simple manner, you can create your own design. You can add your own unique touch to your quilting. For example, let's add here the pebbles with echo, which is another very nice round shape, a combination of a circle and arch. But we can also do it like this, so we are staying with the round shape definition. I'm sorry. Excuse me. We can, of course, use this space to practice larger pebbles. There are so many possibilities you can use and combine those designs, and each of them will be different depending on the size, density, the kind of thread you are using, because the look of your quilting also depends on the thread and how it contrasts with the fabric. So that would be that. And so which one we can still use? The marbles, for example. When you start quilting, it's very tempting to want to quilt all of it at once. I know it, been there, done that. But sometimes less is more, and less is more effective for learning. So sometimes please try to just try one motif of quilting at a time. And then you will notice that when you are done with quilting, for example, a baby quilt, then you also mastered a certain type of pattern. I remember how I learned how to quilt feathers because I quilted nothing else on a whole quilt. I didn't like every one of them, and actually I was not very happy with the quilt till I added binding, and then suddenly it was like that was the one element missing, and I love it. And just like that, let me cut this thread. Let us take a look at the different texture we have. It's the same shapes. We have wavy lines and we have round objects, round patterns. And depending on how we arrange them, either along one row or trapped in this net of echo lines, we have a completely different texture. Incredibly rich. It looks great, and it is such a simple exercise, such a simple combination of very, very basic shapes. If you start with ovals or circles and then move to the marbles and then to swirls, you will for sure soon notice that your circles, your swirls are improving because of this, that you give your hands the possibility to practice. Now, for the last one combination, it's not the last one that is possible, only for last one for today. Let's, for those that know me and watch my videos, know that I like combining sinus wave with something. And there are several different videos where I did that already. especially the one where I quilted a whole table runner with, there were just strips. I think there were like 24 strips connected together, and they quilted each of them with different pattern. There were several different sinus wave based designs. And for example, we can start quilting a sinus shape and then we can add a swirl. Go back. And continue with the sinus shape. This is a little bit more advanced because you have to kind of have it, the shape of your pattern in your head. But this is a very nice shape and pattern we can easily add to our repertoire. And it's just a combination of the shapes we were practicing before. Let's continue with that. And this time let's add just a circle. Completely different dynamics, completely different look that one can expand and adjust depending on the final look. And again, it looks complex, but in reality it is a simple wavy line where I just keep adding round shapes. So it's like quilting also the loops, which is another combination of wavy lines, meander, now when you think about it, and sometimes you see those very complex shapes with wines, yeah, all those very organic and plant-like looking shapes. It's nothing else, only a combination of wavy line and some elements. So now let's go a little bit outside of the scope. So we can do a half swirl here, go back, then we can add a leaf-like element, and repeat. Wavy line, swirl, and leaf. Wavy line, swirl. It doesn't even have to be perfect. It can be creating this ribbon-like shape here. And let's add, I always have problem with the leaf shape here. So a leaf, we can add a second shape, and then we continue with the wavy line. We can add a circle this time. We can add the leaf somewhere else. We can add second one. The point is, we know, then we go on with the wavy line. So right now I never tried this one actually before. I just took my idea apart and quilted one element at a time. So again, if we look at those designs, is we have a component sinus wave, so sinus shape, a swirl, we are going back, we are quilting whatever decorative element we want to quilt, and we continue with the shape of the wavy line. And all of it, all those three designs, the ones that you know so well, like here the extended wavy lines, dividing my space into rows, filling the rows with round shapes, either ovals, pebbles, swirls, whatever you like. You can use the wavy lines to subdivide our space into subsections, like they are not squares, but kind of like a net eyes, and we can fill those created spaces, smaller spaces, with whatever round shape we want. We are today limiting us only to the round shapes, but you can also go for less texture rich shapes, but ones that you can use as overalls. And remember that they are combination of wavy line and whatever element you are adding at the maximum points of the wavy line. I hope this lesson will help you a little bit. Please let me know, and hopefully see you soon. Bye, and happy quilting.